Vanessa had been standing in her car, frozen for 15 minutes. The next step would be one into the past, a past she wanted to forget. The building used to be an administrative one in the early 19th century. It had a beautiful design with high ceilings and large windows. It was in excellent condition, so instead of being demolished, it was repurposed into apartments. It was home to people with average income. She lived with her mother in one of them once. She didn't remember her father. All she knew was that he died at work in an accident when she was just a few months old. He grew up in a village and went to the big city after graduating from school. He met Vanessa's mom, Michelle, on the trip. Michelle became an orphan early and lived with her aunt for 8 years, who chided her for everything. So Michelle left as soon as she finished school. She bought a train ticket that she could afford. When Vanessa's father saw her, he knew it was destiny. They didn't part after that. When they got to the city, Michelle got the first job that offered her a place to stay. The room was in this building with the tall ceilings and large windows. The other apartments in the building were fairly spacious, but the one her mother had was more like a servant's room. Her father helped Michelle get settled and immediately proposed. She said yes, and they were soon married. Michelle's duties included cleaning common areas in the building, washing the floors, and maintaining the grounds around the building. When she got pregnant, she needed to keep working or else lose her home. They got along famously, and her father treated her mother well and helped as much as he could. He got a job at the metal plant, but just a few months after Vanessa was born, there was an accident that he died in. Michelle was along with a tiny baby. When she went to work, she asked her old neighbor to watch Vanessa. When she got bigger, she went to daycare, then to school. Despite studying well, she didn't like school. There were kids in her class with more money, so they laughed at Vanessa a lot and made fun of her. Other people in the building didn't treat Vanessa or her mother well. Michelle took on any additional work she could and saved as much money as possible. She really wanted her daughter to get an excellent education. One day, she got really sick. Vanessa took care of her mom and told her not to worry about work because she could do it. She went to work at dawn to not be seen by neighbors or passersby who might be her classmates' parents or someone from school. She was scared she'd be seen and recognized, and the bullying at school would be even worse. One day, Vanessa was rushing to finish cleaning early, but was late. A girl came out of the apartment above who went to school with her mom. They were neighbors who never said hello to them. She passed by and intentionally kicked the bucket, which spilled water everywhere. The girl's mom screamed at Vanessa. "What are you, blind? Can't you see there are people walking here? You got all our clothes dirty, you ungrateful floor washer." When she got home, Vanessa hugged her mom and quietly said, "Mom, please, let's just move out of here." She realized her daughter was upset. She hugged her tight and said, "They'll leave, but they just need to wait a little longer." Vanessa had a paternal grandmother. She lived in a small town, and they sometimes went to visit her. She died recently and left a will that left the house to Vanessa, but only when she turned 16. "When you get your grandma's house, we'll sell it and combine it with our savings to buy a house on the edge of town. Wait a little longer, dear." After the bucket incident, the neighbor girl and everyone else talked about it in school, and they all called Vanessa a floor washer now. One day, Michelle suggested to Vanessa that they go to the village and check on her grandma's house. They didn't know the trip would change their lives. They found a letter in the mailbox. It was from her brother Philip from France. It turned out that they were separated in childhood, and she never knew about her brother. As soon as Philip could, he searched for his sister. He had no children, his wife was dead, and he really wanted to find his relatives. Michelle contacted Philip and told him that his sister had died and his nephew, Vanessa's father, died tragically, leaving only Vanessa behind. Philip came to visit immediately. When he saw how they were living, he insisted that they move to stay with him in France, where he could take care of them. So they did. Vanessa was homeschooled for a year, and she and her mom studied French intensely. Vanessa went to school a year later. She made many friends, was a good student, and an excellent artist. She didn't remember how she lived before. Philip treated Michelle like a daughter and Vanessa like a granddaughter. Philip had his own vineyard and distillery that Michelle loved. They spent all their time there. One day, Philip called them into his office and said, "My dears, you have become my true family. I'm thankful that you're in my life. I don't know how much longer I'll live, but everything that is mine will go to you. But I have one request. Michelle, you truly love the distillery, so please keep working in it. And please look around you. There are people who care about you dearly and who want to take care of you. Don't take on too many burdens. You're still young. And you, my dear Vanessa, you're very smart and capable, so you must realize your talent. Think about what you want to do with your life. You can pick any university, and I'll pay for it all." Philip died soon after that. Michelle responded to the distillery's manager, who she had liked for a long time, and he liked her as well. They got married soon. Vanessa got into a good engineering school, graduated with excellent grades, and became a good architect. She was hired by a good company. The company had branches all over the world, and Vanessa soon got an offer at an American branch in the city she and her mother were rescued from by Philip. Vanessa agreed. She was now standing in front of the house that held so many unpleasant memories for Vanessa, and she couldn't go in. The branch Vanessa was in charge of won a contract to remodel the building. As the head architect, she could turn the building she used to live in into a hotel. Vanessa gathered herself and finally went in. It felt as if time had no effect here. Nothing had changed. The halls, doors, and even wall color were the same. Two plump, absurdly dressed women suddenly came down the stairs. Vanessa recognized them immediately. It was the same girl who had kicked her bucket and her mother. The women looked the well-dressed, fit, beautiful, elegant girl up and down and looked at her with distaste. Other residents came down and Vanessa went out. There was to be a meeting where she would have to tell them about their needing to move and the coming remodeling. Vanessa felt the contemptuous looks from her childhood tormentors. She looked at them, and she thought they were starting to recognize her. Vanessa approached them and asked, "Don't you recognize me? I used to live here with my mom in a room on the second floor. Everything's still very clean. There's probably another kind woman cleaning here. So, do you also knock her bucket over when you go down the stairs?" Vanessa went to her expensive car without waiting for an answer, where she was met by her driver, who opened the door. Vanessa understood what she did was not how she was raised, nor did it match her status, but damn if it didn't feel amazing. It felt like a huge weight was lifted off her shoulders that she had been carrying all these years. Vanessa didn't even know that she had just fulfilled her dream of paying them back for her humiliation.